All right, what is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another Black Desert video. So today I wanted to make one more Olvia Academy video talking about basically my experience. I'm almost done with this, and this one is just a time-gated one that I just have to finish, but it's no big deal. So I kind of wanted to go over all of the combat and then life skills just to talk about which ones I think might be problematic for new players. And it doesn't matter whether you're a beginner or not, because if you don't have gear, it gives you the gear to do it anyway, like try blue gear. So all of these, you can do it and clear it just fine. So first of all, what I would recommend you new players to do is have two characters. One would be your main doing the things, and two, have a character at the Olvia Academy just to turn in quests, because it's a lot of going back and forth. So like to turn into completed quests and then do the next one, you might want to have a second character just at the Olvia Academy, just letting you know that in advance. All right, so with that said, is it worth doing? Are the rewards good? Yeah, actually, these are worth doing. I actually thought they were fun. It's kind of like a breath of fresh air. So like, whether you're a new player or not, it's kind of going over a tutorial of how to do a lot of things. So yeah, let's go down the list of what you do and then all the rewards for it. So if you're starting out first, I'd recommend doing the combat ones just because the rewards are slightly better, and like if you're a new player, to help you by giving you all the hammers for black stars and then a bunch of crons and essence of dawn, so it'll help you progress faster. So I'd recommend doing all of these. Most of these are pretty self-explanatory. The way you get the quest, and then for example, here's what you would do. Like if you don't know what to do, basically it'll show up like a yellow box marker, and then you just kind of go to the point it tells you, and it's pretty simple. So yeah, the combat ones were actually pretty straightforward to the point where I don't think there were any difficult ones. The only one that I would say you might want to be full Pen to Vala, like maxed out season gears, but early one, which really easy these days to do, even if you're a new player. So this one is the one where you just have to like go to the new grind spot and then kill a bunch of enemies over here. Which it's funny because they make you do this one early on, but then the field tactics, you kind of have to do them in order. So like you have to do these, and then the field tactics are the later ones. These have a lower AP requirement for all of them, but then they make you do the higher AP one first, which it doesn't make any sense. This one should be replaced with the end of them and do the lower AP first. Makes sense, right? But aside from that, nothing too out of the ordinary for the combat ones in general. It's just you have season gear, and then you should be able to do all of them. And then, okay, so gathering. I just wanted to say that they're going to be doing some changes in the global lab as of, well, it's live on the global lab now, coming to the live servers next week. And so there are a few things that I want to talk about with that. So aside from, you know, collecting a bunch of materials, all of these are pretty self-explanatory. I have it in my video when I did it on day one. So here's what I would do for all of these. Go to the tutorial area, which just is like right outside of the Olvia Academy. You could get all of them, but if there are a lot of people out there and then you're trying to get it, but like let's say the tree or the rocks are on cooldown, if once again you have your character at the Olvia Academy, so you can turn it in. But then a lot of the stuff you could do, if you have a character in Heidel, you can get the rough stone, ash sap, and then timbers all straight out of like Heidel. And well, actually they're kind of everywhere, but like this is all kind of in one grouped up spot around here in the forest. So that's one way you could do that. That's what I did. I think the biggest, most problematic one most people are going to have is collected 300 fairy breath. Now, if you're waiting until next week, basically they're dropping that number from 300 to 100 to make it easier for everyone. I think that's fine. But if you have the green thumb, which is completing the Land of the Morning Light quest line, and let me show you. So over here, if you have this thing, like the little toggle on and off thing right here, you want to have this on. You do the quest line from Morning Light, you complete the storyline, and then there's another quest that opens up for that one, and then you have this. Basically, it allows you to 10 proc, like every now and then, the more mastery you have, you have a chance to like multi-proc like you're gathering, right? And so sometimes you get Fairy's Breath. And then for me, it took me about 15 minutes. For people who don't have this, it's probably going to take you like an hour. But after the change, I would say from 300 to 100 should probably take you like 15 minutes at most. So either way, for me, it was not that big. But if you have the green thumb, make sure to turn it on if it's not already. And then that should help you complete that one. But yeah, I've heard a lot of people say this took them a while. And yeah, just know that as of next week, it's going to be reduced from 300 to 100. So there's that. Fishing is self-explanatory. The only one that I think new players will probably have is probably catching the red grade fish. That one is just RNG, and you can catch all of the fish like needed for the quests right outside the fishing NPC for where you do all of these. The only one that you cannot get is the redfish in the academy. So what I'd recommend for most people, just go outside of Olvia, you know, where the standard everyone fishes, just out there, and then you'll just get the redfish over time. It's RNG, but you know, this is where you can get it, and it's probably one of the better, more consistent amounts of silver. So if you're leaving your game on, you know, while you're at work or overnight, then you'll probably wake up with 2 redfish caught, and you can always turn it in. With the leftover fish, make sure to just turn it into morning light somewhere. I would do here, or you know, somewhere down here. Either way, both of them are pretty good. So yeah, that's the only one that I think would be tough for most like new players, because you don't know where to go to do it. So Velia Coast and by the beach. Hunting. Yeah, this one is pretty much self-explanatory. You go to all the different spots and do hunting. The time one is probably the 200 wild sparks. The spot I would recommend for people is down in Odraxia. Go down to Narcion, and then there'll be a few different kinds of hunting targets over here. There's going to be the shadow lion, the grass rhino, and then the deer. So around like Narcion, there's all 3 of them. But around the right side near the river, there's the grass rhinos. That's what I did, because those are pretty quick to do, and they drop like 8 to 11 of those sparks per kill, whereas the deer only drop like 2 to 3, and the shadow lions are very inconsistent. So I would recommend grass rhinos for this one. If you're collecting 200, it probably will take you about, I don't know, half an hour to an hour, depending on how fast you're doing it. And then everything else is pretty self-explanatory, and just use the match lock they give you and you'll be good. Cooking. This one, like, if you've never cooked before, this one might be kind of annoying, just because it doesn't always give you all the materials that you need. So for example, like, let's say you're making like the seafood cron meal. I don't think it gives you all the ingredients for it. It gives you most of them, like 80%. So you might have to buy the extra one off the market or something, and then you craft it. But aside from that, basically you take all the materials you get from all the other quests, and then it leads up to making the cron meal, right? So aside from that, I'm glad this one is a good one, because it teaches people how to actually do cooking. I see a lot of people just cooking, you know, like basic stuff, and then the actual meals are the ones that are very complicated. So I'm glad this is actually a good one to do. So just know, I think it gives you about like 80-90% of the materials. You might have to buy like 1 or 2 more things, and then you'll be good to go. Alchemy, same thing as cooking, gives you about 80-90% of things. The biggest one I would say is make sure you can multi-craft with things. Certain materials, or like, let's say certain elixirs. What was the material? Let me just show you, because you can, it tells you how to process or like simple alchemy them, but it only teaches you how to do it 1 at a time. There are some ingredients where you can bulk process or craft, and you can do them like 10 at a time. So like Tears of the Falling Moon, for certain things, for various drafts, you could do multi-crafting, and I think there's like 1 more blue elixir. I forgot where, I don't remember where I put it, but go to the vendor, and in every town it basically, let me hold on, does it have it here in Calpheon? Okay, so this one, mass process for drafts, you could do 10 to 1 ingredients, and there's probably another one. Yeah, this one, and then this one. And then for other alchemy, there's like a blue elixir that looks like the purifying thing. I forgot what it's called though. Let me just see. Where is it? Oh my god, my storage is so cluttered. Yeah, this one. Blue grade if you're upgrading as well. Other than that, the Ilya one's for bulk processing or crafting. So yeah, it tells you how to do it, but crafting 1. And then if you want to get it done quicker, you just multi-process them, and then you'll be good to go. It saves a bunch of time. Processing. This one is actually very just straightforward. It gives, like, you talk to the NPC, she gives you the materials, you process them, and then that's about it. I don't think there's anything too crazy. Yeah, like all the materials is just given to you. Training. This is horse catching. The biggest thing that is going to be changed in next week's patch is catch a or tame a tier 7 horse. Currently it's only tier 7. Next week it's going to be tier 7 and up, so tier 7 and tier 8, which it's a little bit better, but not really. I wish it was just like, here, catch X amount of horses instead of tier 7. So, you know, it could be like a tier 6, but you just catch like 10 of them to mastery it. Another one that is probably going to be annoying for some people is the, what is it? This one, like the training, like the breeding one, because that one is just time gated, and then you have to have a horse like a tier 6 and up at level 25 and up, so I'd recommend buying it. But aside from that, they don't tell you that. You just kind of figure it out. So for the breeding part of it, yeah, level tier 6 or higher at level 25. Otherwise, it'll say the horse does not have enough stamina or something. So yeah, it has to be a certain level, and then you do that. So it's easier if you just buy it, but for new players, also just know that you can't just do it at level 1. Otherwise, you know, it just doesn't work. But aside from that, you probably want to do higher tiers anyway, simply because it'll give you a chance at one of those treasure items, or the Imperial one, which can go for the Lumen Trace, but that's like endgame stuff. Imperial Delivery is level 15 and up for a horse. So yeah, it tells you that right there, but just in case you didn't know. And then, yeah, tier 7. This one is probably going to be the one people get stuck on until next week, because tier 7s are kind of out of the way. So let me show you some spots that I would recommend. Down in the sniper rifle zone by Velia, this one is a good one. There's a few horses. Down by Heidel, around here, going up near Alejandro Farm, there's another spot down here. Then there's another one going down around here by under the farm. My favorite one is down by Duvenkroon. So you see the river. This is Duvenkroon City. You see the little river going down. Down around the right side of the river, there's a bunch of horses there. Generally, Duvenkroon has been known for having higher tier or like horses in general. And so usually you'll see horses in groups of like 2 or 3. This one generally has like 4 of them. So I would say this one is a higher chance of you catching the horse you need at the higher tiers. So just keep in mind that's what it is. Duvenkroon, and then down you'll see a river, and then to the right of it. So I'd recommend that one first of everything. Farming is the biggest time gate, because it's literally plant some crops and then wait for it to grow. The annoying part is if you already have it, let's say you have workers on your garden, right? So you can have a worker set over here. They expect you to take the worker off and then like prune and breed it. So you'll see various things like there's like bugs on them, or you can, you know, like harvest them in a way. So Either way, if you already had farms going, it's a little bit of an inconvenience, but if you've never done it before, just make sure to do that. If you're looking for advanced tactics on farming, and you're wondering like, oh, where do I place my farm or plots and everything? So basically you look at this, and then the temperature regions, like depending on what you're growing, you kind of want to pick the area. Like this tells you, oh, it's colder region and territory resources. Most people don't use it. Most people just place them wherever. But if you want to grow like certain things, generally either Valencia, Heidel, or Veli are just the common spots to do it. So I put them here, like right outside of Veli or Heidel. I don't min-max my farms at all. But if you wanted to, just know that like temperature and territory resource things are, you want to look at all of these things, or not resource, but like humidity and all that. So make sure to look at that if you care about min-maxing. But aside from that, farming is really just a time-gated one. You grow your crops and then wait for it to grow, and then that's it. So I'll be done with that one later today. Sailing and bartering. This one is actually pretty easy, believe it or not. It gives you the sailboat, which is the one under frigate, and then you craft those to be the 4 carracks, and it branches out in different ways. But aside from that, here's what you do. You go by the pier right here, and then a lot of the quests are just straight outside here. The only difficult one will probably be going to get the Hekaroos, which are, down here and then out over here. Oh. Okay, so, yeah. Honestly, this is really easy. If people need help with that, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people by the pier just going out doing their sailing dailies as well. Maybe one day if people need help, I'm happy to just bring a lot of people, and then we'll just get this one done while I do my sailing dailies. So very easy. Just go around here, Achilles' Eye, bring your boat, and then go down here that way. So one thing they're actually changing is currently you have to defeat 3 Hekaroos in the ocean. They're changing it to 1 next week. Does it really matter? No, it just saves you like 5 minutes if you already know what you're doing. But I guess for a new player, it'll probably save a bunch of times. Also, if you have a friend that has a carrack, that thing just gets cleared really quickly. Or if you have a guild boat or something, it should be very easy. I talked about this in my bartering video, bartering and sailing. Just some quick tips for all of you who find it enjoyable. Separate your boat upgrade materials and then your barter materials into 2 different storages. So for example, here's what I do. In Olvia Island, this is where my boat is parked. These are where I have all my barter materials. There's a lot of them, especially for people who don't have all the storage set up and everything. So you're going to want to separate that. And then your boat upgrade materials, I set them at Port Feria. And so as you guys can see, there's literally hundreds of things you can do. So make sure to separate them. It makes it less confusing. Here's what I'd recommend for bartering. Separate your barters into left and right side. So let's take Lima Island, for example. This is the middle ground or under Achilles' Eye. So pretend it's an invisible line, right? Everything to the right of that, Ilia and around it is the right side. And then here's the left side. To make your barters faster, just kind of pick something on one side of the region and then start doing your 10 barters from there. Aside from that, I actually thought this one was pretty straightforward. And even people who don't have a carrack, it gives you the basic boats. So the only thing that separates people who are already geared out with boats is on the sailboat and the frigate. You have to, I believe you have to get off the ship while you're driving or steering. You have to get off and shoot the thing on the side. So it's you kind of have to park your boat and then fire the cannons manually. Whereas if you have a carrack, you just do that while you're moving. So it does save a little bit of time, but ultimately it's not really that big of a deal. I just think for new players, this is a good change, changing it from 3 to 1. But I think the hardest thing is if you don't have a compass and you kind of get lost around here. Here's what I'd recommend. If you are in the ocean and you can't see it, you see this 2D, change it to 3D, because in the ocean, it marks, well, not necessarily marks, but it shows you the targets a lot easier. So like you'll see yellow icons a lot easier, so just make sure to set that into 3D when you're out in the ocean. But like 2D, it's not really a big deal. It'll just show you black dots. It makes the mini map a lot easier to see in 3D. So yeah, I'd recommend doing that in the ocean. I used to do that when I was sea monster hunting, and yeah, I think that's about it. So finishing that, it doesn't matter if you have the gear or not, because it gives you all the try stuff for every life skill you're doing. So it gives you like basically all the armor you need, and then you'll be good to go. One more thing before we wrap up is go into the Pearl Shop. Under silver items like loyalties and silver, you want to buy all these for 100 silver each. It's basically buying the second row. And then you'll see this green icon over here for the Academy Pass. Make sure to click this and then claim all the rewards. And then it does give a bunch of XP, so you kind of want to do that one. And yeah, just finish them up when you can and enjoy the free rewards, because some of these are actually worth a little bit. So make sure to do that as well and get all your stuff done. But that's about it. I want to talk about the Olvia Academy, how I did everything, which ones are kind of like the annoying ones, but ultimately I think they did a good job. Overall, it's not too hard for new players as well. I'm glad there are a few things that could be tweaked, but Pearl Abyss, if you're watching this as a TLDR, some of the things are going to be changed, but here's the one that I would probably change. Instead of 200 wild sparks, make it like 50 or 100, like reduce that number as well. It just saves a little bit of time. Cooking and alchemy actually give all the materials and make it more straightforward to do. And then training, they're gonna tweak this one as well for the horse one. Hunting could be, there's actually one they're gonna change as well, which is, where was it? There's one where you have to like do the 10 Farika Farina thingies, and it tells you to go down here somewhere. You could also do that near, where is it? Old Wisdom Tree down here as well. They're around here. But you know, maybe farming could be a little bit toned down a little bit. It's kind of annoying to do, but it's not like it's not hard. It's just time gated. Sailing is going to be reduced in the future, but ultimately not too bad. And so yeah, just make sure to do that. If you need help, happy to point you guys in the right direction. Just drop a comment or join the Discord. Make sure to do the combat ones. These give like significantly better rewards and stuff if you're a new player that you could turn into silver just by selling it on the market as well. So yeah, do that. Also, be sure to, one thing I forgot to mention, if you're using these hammers and you want to sell your black star and not use it, you have to use these hammers on like a black star that has a value on it. So like, for example, you know how they give you one for free? Like, here's the ones that they gave me. The ones that are free, these don't have a silver value on it. But if you're enhancing one from base, those do have a silver value. If you use those hammers on it, you can sell them on the market. So that's about it. Yeah, I think that's all I want to talk about. Hopefully you guys learned something, and if you didn't, that's okay. If you need help, happy to point you guys in the right direction. And that's it. So before we wrap up, I wanted to say thanks so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you're new. I have a bunch of videos coming out in the near future for a lot of other things, and we generally talk about the latest topics and everything. But I also have a creator code. I believe that is going on for another week and a half or so. So basically, if you're buying any pearls or buying any game package upgrades, like, you know, the Conqueror edition or whatever, use my code and I get a small kickback out of it. It's always appreciated. Never required. And that's about it. So see you guys later. Peace.